A record 63 Cybertrucks were spotted at Giga, Texas. Just 48 are here in this one single picture. Every day we see more and more of these Cybertrucks. The ramp appears to be going very well. Tesla is making about 40 trucks per day now, maybe? And it's increasing quickly, so that's about 15,000 per year if we analyze the production. And Ford last year sold about 13,000 F-150s. So Tesla is already at that rate pretty much, and it's already been making Cybertrucks for about a few minutes. James is very bullish about the Cybertruck. When it reaches volume production, Cybertruck will be the profit car leader for Tesla, and it will not be even close. I fully agree with James on this one. With so many Cybertrucks coming out of the factory, naturally Tesla is sending new Cybertruck Foundation Series email invites. Ian Sawyer says that over 350 people have messaged him so far, showing that they have been invited to configure a Foundation Series Cybertruck, and he says that from this group, roughly 40 to 50% of the people actually proceed further and order a Cybertruck. And he says that people from 32 different states have now been invited to configure a Cybertruck, but not a single Canadian yet. However, not a single person has received a VIN number yet. At least Sawyer has not seen anyone receive one. And at this point, there has to be a lot more than just 1,000 Foundation Cybertrucks that have been sold, basically. Most of the people are ordering the all-wheel drive Foundation Cybertrucks and not the tri-motor version. In a stylish mood, Dan Ives has just increased Tesla's stock price target. It went up from $310 to now $350. Seeing these Cybertrucks certainly must be helpful. I'm sure that had some influence on Dan Ives' new Tesla stock price target, but he is fairly decent when it comes to feeling the atmosphere of the market, and he usually goes with that flow, and right now it's positive, so it's going up. And his Wall Street ranking is as good as his style. And Dan Ives predicts that in 2024, Tesla will again reach a $1 trillion market valuation. Dan Ives says, while overall EV demand has clearly moderated globally, we are still in the early days of this massive transformation, with Tesla leading the way, as we estimate by 2030, roughly 20% of autos will be EV based, which is different from car sales, new car sales, because it takes 10-20 years to replace every single vehicle on the road. So even if EV adoption was 100% of new vehicles starting today, it will still take years to turn our whole fleet into 100% EVs. Also noteworthy is that as Detroit stalwarts, GM and Ford, among others, appear to be tempering the EV transformation, Tesla is now doubling down with Cybertruck, and we expect another sub $30,000 vehicle to be announced over the next 6 to 9 months. This is not great, but it's not as bad as it seems. A Swedish appeals court has rejected Tesla's attempt to force postal firm PostNord to deliver license plates to the US automaker, which means that Tesla supposedly cannot deliver any vehicles to any customers in Sweden because without license plates we cannot take delivery. However, the Swedish media has reported that the company has found ways to circumvent the unions by asking car buyers to order the plates themselves. So the deliveries continue. This is certainly a setback for Tesla, but despite that, Tesla stock is actually up today so far. Earlier, it was critical that Tesla was able to pick up the license plates because without that, deliveries cannot be made. But Tesla's legal team has found some creative solutions, so this is no longer a problem. Therefore, it does not matter what the court says going forward. So Tesla is on the winning side here. Tesla short sellers this year lost more money than on any other stock in the stock market. $12.6 billion. Nvidia is second at $11.3 billion. How dumb do you have to be to short Tesla stock? I know there's no shortage of dumb people in the world, but still, I get stunned every time. I think this describes Tesla bears perfectly. They just what are they doing? I haven't found a better video to describe Tesla bears. This one is a perfect one. Tesla set a new quarterly record in Denmark. We will see many more of these over the next few days coming out from Europe. the quarter is not finished yet. We have more than a week, and this is already looking really good. Tesla has now officially launched the new Megafactory project in Shanghai, which will produce 10,000 Megapacks per year. A land acquisition and signing ceremony was held today in Shanghai. This is the same project that we learned about in April of this year, but the construction of the plant was scheduled to begin in the third quarter of this year, with production commencing in the second quarter of 2024, according to these announcements from April. So today's update basically means that the construction has been slightly delayed. Tesla's energy business margins are already better than the automotive margins, and in the long term, this new factory will help increase these margins even further. I will not be too surprised if we see another small delay, but I am convinced that production will certainly start sometime next year. There's some news about the Tesla strike in Sweden. The companies basically that take care of Tesla's waste management in Sweden are supposed to strike against Tesla as well, but they are saying that the instructions about the strike are not exactly clear, so therefore we are not striking. I think that probably means that they are supporting Tesla to some degree at least. I seriously have a lot of respect for people that take care of Tesla's garbage and that do not throw more garbage into this whole rubbish situation. These people actually know how to do their job, but under more pressure they may crack as well. But so far it looks good. I'm not quite sure why Tesla is doing this. If you know, leave a comment down below. Both Tesla vehicles and non-Tesla EVs can access a 50% reduced rate at select supercharger locations in Australia for the next few weeks. Because it doesn't seem to be a permanent change, I'm not really quite sure why this is. This is good news for Tesla because it's bad news for GM. GM says it expects its Cadillac Lyriq and Chevrolet Blazer EV to temporarily lose eligibility for a US EV tax credit starting next year on January 1st. They are losing the credit because of two minor components. GM added has pulled ahead sourcing plans for qualifying components in early 2024, and GM said it expects the Lyriq and the Blazer EV to regain eligibility in early 2024, which has to stall their sales for a little while. Tesla doesn't do things like that. Tesla basically says, oh, we are losing the credit and we are not telling you when we think we are getting it back. This sort of gives me some hope that the Model 3 tax credit will come back really quickly, just like it did earlier this year. Tesla lost it for a little bit, but it came back so quickly. Lucid says it is working on a vehicle that will compete with a Model 3 and a Model Y. I have formerly stated mid-late decade, and that has been completely misquoted as the end of the decade 2030. What I mean is not 2025. It's a few years away, but it's close. It takes 3.5 years to do a car, and we have started. And that was not yesterday, he says. The mid-size line is going to be overtly a Tesla competitor. Model 3, Model Y. This is the first time I have ever said it. We are going to compete in that market, high-volume family car. Now, where are they going to get the money to get the factory built and the lines built for these new vehicles? Because they are certainly not going to fund that from their cash flows. Are they going to get the money from the Saudis? Are they really willing to throw away all that money? Because Lucid is producing less and less vehicles. Look at this chart. It's going down. The production is going down. If you get a Cybertruck, please do not drive like this with your turn signal turned on, but then turning to the opposite direction at the very last second. This would bring a bad rep to the Cybertruck if everyone starts doing this. So please, do not do this. Some people complain about Tesla's high-fidelity 360 parking because it's not a real camera, like, for example, this Rivian has here, and it has this 360 bird's eye view, and there's clearly some space over here, and the car can definitely move, right? Well, take a look.
Yeah, that's not right.
Whoops. Rivian has some work to do.
So this is the first of its kind laser blanking line. What it does is it takes coils, it unwinds them, and it's taking out the internal stresses from the raw material. It's passing them through something called a leveler. All it's really doing is it's got a bunch of work rolls and they're moving up and down, and they're flattening the part. We want to be careful that we don't work the material too much, because you do something called work hardening and then you shear the part later on. So this was a special development as well. This is something that's primarily used in mills. So we actually source it for a blanking line.
So just out of curiosity, why don't you let us know the thickness? I think I know, but I'd rather have you say it. What's the thickness of the material?
So we have two thicknesses. Our doors are 1.8 millimeters thick, and all the other parts, like the sails, the hoods, are 1.4 millimeters thick.
1.4.
Correct.
And we worked hard to get that strength up on the stainless, because the original we were about 2.53, but we actually increased the strength of the HFS over time. So we're able to get, while doing that with the ductility for forming, we're able to still get that strength and bulletproof toughness.
Yeah.
With having a thinner material.
Cool.
Correct. So this is actually designed for 3 millimeter, but it's good that we're not using it.
That's where we started.
Yeah, correct. So, oops, sorry. This shows a good overview of the line. So you have the uncoiler, as I explained, where the actual raw material, we call that a coil, is being loaded. It's being unwound as we speak. It's going through the leveler or straightener, depending on what you want to call it. Then it's going into the laser booth, which is what you see right over there. It's airtight, light tight because of emissions and whatnot. And these are two lasers working in tandem. And right now what's being cut is the hood for the Cybertruck. It cuts up to 30 microns, and it's the first laser of its kind to do that. Typically these machines cut at 1 millimeter. This was a special development with Tesla and Schuler.
Wow.
So just again, you bring in one coil, the coil becomes empty. Do you do a tailored blank from the old, well, what's left of the coil and the new coil? Are you welding?
No, there's no welding.
No, so
Which is when we run out of material, we end the blanking, and then we put a new roll in.
Just so you understand how big of a deal that is, there are 1,000 microns in 1 millimeter. So they went from 1 millimeter to 30 microns? That's crazy! No wonder the Cybertruck was delayed. Tesla had to come up with a new innovation on top of a new innovation on top of a new innovation on top of a new innovation. Now, in August, we saw this email from Elon to Tesla team, and he asked for an accuracy that would be beyond 30 microns. He called for sub 10 micron accuracy, which would have been absolutely ridiculously insane. But 30 microns, that's pretty good, knowing that you're going from 1,000 microns to 30. Crazy. There's another Tesla recall because the cabin doors can be unlocked during a crash. As such, these vehicles fail to comply with the requirements of Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard number 214, side impact protection. But this will be fixed with a software update. But get ready to see a lot more articles saying, oh, Tesla is recalling 120,000 cars in the US. All BS. Because it is just a software update. You don't need to take your vehicle to a dealership to fix it. I am very interested in investing in SpaceX. 8 years later, nobody else but SpaceX is consistently landing rockets. It's like if still to this day, if there were no other EV manufacturers, that's how crazy of an advantage SpaceX has over everyone else. And SpaceX has just announced that there are now over 2.3 million active Starlink customers. That's some huge progress. And all of these customers, they are paying, I think, over $100 a month. It's $600 up front basically, and then $120 every single month. So that cash flow is reliable. And like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode. Thank you so much for watching.